There are an estimated 1.3 million Jamaican-born people living outside the island today. That's about 36% of Jamaica's total national population. Put another way, more than 1 in every 3 Jamaicans no longer lives in Jamaica. With Jamaica's population at home being roughly 2.8 million, the diaspora is almost half as large as the entire population that actually lives here. Where have all these Jamaicans gone? Mostly to 3 big destinations: the United States, with more than 1.1 million Jamaicans, the United Kingdom, with around 400,000, and Canada, with about 300,000. And this isn't a group that just packed up, left, and forgot about Jamaica. Far from it. In 2023, remittances from the diaspora made up nearly 20% of Jamaica's GDP. That's about $3.37 billion flowing into families and businesses back home. The diaspora also invests in local businesses, keeps cultural traditions alive abroad, and participates through organizations like the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. Many keep their Jamaican passports, visit often, and still see Jamaica as home, even if their lives are now based elsewhere. So, why should overseas Jamaicans keep their right to vote? Well, there are several powerful arguments. First, the citizenship principle. At the end of the day, these are Jamaican citizens. Many born here, many never gave up that citizenship. The argument goes, if citizenship is what grants you political rights, then it shouldn't matter whether you live in Kingston, London, or Miami. Then there's the economic contribution argument. If the diaspora is sending back billions of US dollars every year, nearly 1/5 of Jamaica's entire economy, then surely they deserve some say in who governs the country that their money is helping to sustain. These remittances are not luxuries either. For countless families, this money covers food, school fees, hospital bills, even rent. And let's not forget the ongoing connections. Plenty of Jamaicans abroad still own property here, still have family here, still visit regularly, and many even plan to return when they retire. In that sense, Jamaica's political choices still affect them directly. There's also an international precedent. Countries like the US, the UK, and France all allowed their citizens abroad to vote. Some, like France, even give their diaspora dedicated seats in parliament. Supporters argue if other democracies can find a way to make it work, why not Jamaica? And finally, there's the question of brain drain and return migration. Jamaica has lost a lot of its best talent to migration. If we cut off diaspora voting, we risk weakening the connection further. But if we keep them politically engaged, maybe more will be encouraged to eventually bring back their skills, investments, and experience. On the other side, critics argue that diaspora voting creates serious problems when it comes to representation and consequences. The strongest argument here is simple. If you don't live in Jamaica, you don't have to face the daily consequences of Jamaican politics. When crime rises in a specific area, it's not the diaspora worrying about their kids walking to school. When grocery prices jump at the supermarket, it's not the diaspora counting every dollar at the checkout line. When the health system is overwhelmed, it's not the diaspora waiting in long lines at a public hospital. Yet, overseas Jamaicans could still help decide which leaders and which policies Jamaica gets, while avoiding the real-world fallout of those decisions. Then there's the representation problem. Democracy is supposed to mean that each constituency is represented by someone chosen by the people who actually live there. But if someone in Toronto votes for the MP of East Kingston, how well do they really understand that community's challenges? The roads that need fixing, the schools that need resources, the local crime issues. Critics also warn about political distortion. If politicians know diaspora votes matter, they might start tailoring their campaigns to please overseas Jamaicans instead of focusing on the citizens actually living here.
The economic fairness argument also complicates things. Yes, remittances are massive, but not every overseas Jamaican sends money home, and not everyone sends the same amount. Should someone who doesn't send $1 still get the same voting rights? If voting rights are based on money, then democracy starts leaning toward wealth rather than equality. Finally, some argue that the diaspora made a choice to live, work, and pay taxes abroad. Their political participation, critics say, should therefore be focused on their new home countries. If they want to influence Jamaican politics directly, they should move back and live under the same laws and conditions as everyone else. And the debate doesn't stop there. Some have even asked, should Jamaicans abroad be allowed to run for parliament or local government positions? Right now, Jamaican law says no. You must be a resident of Jamaica to hold elected office. And to many, that makes perfect sense. How can you represent Spanish Town while living in Miami? How can you make laws for Jamaica without living under those laws yourself? An MP's job is to know what's happening on the ground in their constituency, which roads are bad, which schools are struggling, what the crime concerns are. You can't get that knowledge from a distance. And that's why the idea of overseas MPs is far less popular than diaspora voting. The US lets citizens overseas vote through absentee ballots, tied to their last US address. But even then, participation rates are low because the process is complicated. The UK only allows citizens who lived there within the last 15 years to vote abroad. That way, voters still have recent experience with life in the UK. France goes the farthest, creating special seats in Parliament just for French citizens overseas, giving them their own representatives. Across the Caribbean, it's a mixed bag. Some allow diaspora voting, some don't, each trying to balance inclusion with local representation. The lesson? There's no one right answer. Every approach has trade-offs. At the heart of this debate are two competing principles. Citizenship should come with rights, including voting. Democracy should represent those who live with the consequences of political decisions. Both are valid, but they clash when it comes to diaspora voting. The current Jamaican system, requiring overseas citizens to fly back home to vote, already acts as a kind of filter. It ensures that only those deeply committed to participating actually make the effort. That might be a fair middle ground. But the tension remains. How do we balance citizenship rights with the realities of representation? The diaspora is not going anywhere. Their cultural and economic influence will remain vital to Jamaica for generations. The real question is whether political inclusion strengthens that bond or distorts democracy for those living on the island. So now I want to hear from you. Should Jamaicans abroad continue to have the right to vote in our general elections as long as they return to cast their ballot? Or should voting be limited to people living here, dealing with the daily realities of Jamaican life? And what about political office? Should overseas Jamaicans be allowed to run for parliament, or should that be strictly reserved for residents? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video, and let's keep the conversation going.